20 years ago, this town had fewer people in it than a single Chicago neighborhood. Today, it is one of the fastest growing suburbs in the entire state, and most people relocating to the Chicagoland area have never even seriously looked at it. And after helping people relocate to this area for the last 5 years, I can tell you it is one of the most overlooked moves in the entire Chicago market. And I'm not pulling this list from something online. I'm pulling it from actually spending time here for so many years. So in the video, I'm going to show you exactly why families are quietly pouring into this place, what your money actually buys you here compared to other suburbs everyone keeps fighting for, and one honest trade-off you need to know before you fall in love with this place. Because here's the problem. Everybody relocating to the Chicago suburbs gets funneled towards the same 4 or 5 towns. They end up in a bidding war, and they overpay like 50 grand for the privilege of being the town. Now there's a smarter play, and by the end of this video, you'll know whether or not it's the right one for you. First, let's talk about why Oswego is even on the map, because the growth here is the whole reason it's even worth your time. Oswego sits right on the Fox River in Kendall County. It's about 45 miles southwest of downtown Chicago, and for most of its history, it was a sleepy little farm town. And then something flipped. In 2000, Oswego had about 13,000 people. By the 2020 census, it had over 34,000, and today it's pushing 35,000 plus. That's a town that roughly tripled in a single generation. Kendall County, which Oswego anchors, has spent years on the list of the fastest growing counties in the entire country. This isn't a town that's fading. It's a town that's actually still being built, and you can see it when you drive through it. And here's why it matters to you as a buyer. Growth like that means amenities will definitely follow. The restaurants, the retail, the parks, the new schools, they show up because the rooftops keep showing up first. So you're not betting on the town's future. You're buying into the momentum that's already proven itself here. So when you're evaluating any suburb, don't just look at what it looks like today. Look at that trajectory. Pull up the population over the last 20 years. A town that has tripled has infrastructure, demand, and retail strength already baked into it. Oswego passes that test better than almost anywhere in the region. But growth alone doesn't make a place worth moving to, does it? The real question is, what does your money buy you once you get here? And this is where Oswego really separates itself. Before we hop into that, if you're thinking of relocating to Chicago or the suburbs, that's what I do every single day. So feel free to reach out to me here or sign up for my weekly newsletter right here. Here's the problem with the suburbs that everyone seems to be chasing. You're paying a premium for the name on the sign as much as the house itself. Now, Oswego, that's where the math will finally start working in your favor. As of early 2026, the median sales price for a single-family home in Oswego is sitting around $450,000, and attached homes, which is kind of like townhomes and condos, around $405,000. Now, new construction is going to cost you a little bit more, averaging the low 500s. But compare that to Naperville, where you're routinely paying $700,000 for a comparable home, seems like a deal, doesn't it? And it's not just cheaper, it's newer. More than half of Oswego's housing was built since the year 2000. So a lot of what you're touring isn't those tired 1970s split levels that you're going to have to gut anyway. It's newer construction with modern layouts, more square footage, and the garages that today's buyers actually kind of want. Now picture 2 families with the same budget. One stretches into Naperville and lands a smaller, older home at the top of the price range, and they have to compete with 6 offers to even get there. The other comes to Oswego, they get a newer, bigger home with a yard, and they might pay under list price, maybe. But still, in that case, they're still buying into top-rated schools with the same money, but they're paying so much less. So do this, take your target budget and run the exact same search in Oswego that you run in Naperville or Downers Grove. The same bedrooms, same bathrooms, same square footage if you can get it, and watch what comes back. You see, that side-by-side comparison is the single fastest way to feel the value gap, and it usually is what changes the conversation here. Now, more house for your money only matters if the kids' schools are actually good. So let's deal with that one head on. For most families relocating, schools aren't a factor. They're usually the factor. And Oswego is mostly served by District 308. District 308 is a big district, around 22 schools and roughly 17,000 students, and it still carries an A- rating overall on niche.com, ranking among the top tier of Illinois districts. It has 2 high schools, Oswego High School and Oswego East. And both high schools here landed on the College Board's AP Honor Roll last year. That's national recognition for getting more students into a college level course and actually helping them pass. And on top of that, you've got dual credit and Project Lead the Way pathways. Honestly, for a huge number of families, that's exactly the sweet spot. You're getting genuinely good schools, real extracurriculars, and an AP program that is clearly helping students see results. Now, one thing to watch, a small slice of Oswego falls into Yorkville District 115, not 308. So before you fall into a specific home, confirm which school district the address actually feeds into, because it can change your schools and your taxes. Now, good schools and good value will definitely get you in the door, but what actually makes people stay is the lifestyle. And Oswego's downtown is in the middle of a real transformation. A lot of suburbs have a downtown that's really just a stoplight and a gas station, most likely a Casey's. Oswego is the real thing, and it's getting better and better faster. The historic downtown sits right on the Fox River with brick walkways, locally owned shops, and restaurants, and the Hudson Crossing Park right on the water here. There's genuine calendar of community life here, like Prairie Fest, Wine on the Fox, the Christmas Walk, a Sunday country market all summer long. This is a town that actually shows up for everybody. And the village is putting real money behind it. The Reserve at Hudson Crossing, a luxury apartment and retail development right downtown, just completed its second building in April of 2026, adding over 100 more units plus commercial space, a parking deck, and a rooftop deck overlooking that river. That's nearly 280 residences and around 10,000 square feet of new shops and restaurants coming to downtown. Why does a development like that matter even if you're never going to rent an apartment? Because developers and a village board don't pour tens of millions of dollars into a downtown that's just dying. So you see, that investment is a bet on the demand for more residents walking to these shops, more restaurants wanting to get in, more energy in the street. It's a leading indicator that this downtown is on its way up, and it's not just coasting through. Now, I promised you one honest trade-off near the start of this video, and it's time to deliver that, because it's the one thing that people kind of get wrong about Oswego. Before we dive into that, if you're thinking about moving to Chicago, where to buy, what areas to watch, what to avoid, it's exactly what I'm here for. So reach out anytime right here, or scan my QR code on the screen to sign up for my weekly newsletter. I break down the market every week, cover local spots worth knowing about, and I keep you up to date on everything happening in Chicago and the suburbs. Here's the catch, and I'd be doing you a disservice if I skip this. Oswego does not have its own metro station. So if you're someone who needs to land in the loop 5 days a week, you're gonna have to drive to the Aurora station, right next to Two Brothers, which is a great place. You see, or you're gonna have to be driving down the corridor just to get to work. And Oswego is about 45 miles out, and it's far southwest suburb living, not a 25-minute express right into the city. Now on the roadside, you're gonna have some real access. US Route 34 runs straight through town towards Aurora and Naperville. You got Route 71, which connects you to Yorkville and Plainfield. And then you have I-88. It's the Reagan Tollway. That's gonna give you your east-west access. And it's gonna give you access to north-south like I-55 and I-294. So the honest version of this, if your job is in the far west suburbs like Aurora, Naperville, somewhere on the I-88 corridor, Oswego is fantastically located. If you're daily driven or daily commuting to downtown Chicago and you need to be by train, this is probably not the town for you. And that's all right. But knowing that now will save you painful realizations later. I've seen it both ways, right? The people who thrive here usually work west, hybrid, or they work from home, and they like space. They love the price, and the schools are a slam dunk if they have kids. The ones who struggle are 5 days a week in the loop commuting, and they underestimated how far the train was and how far the ride actually is. So that's Oswego, a town that tripled in a generation, where your money buys more house, the schools are genuinely solid, the downtown is definitely on the rise, and the commute trade-off is something you need to know about. But here's the thing. Deciding on Oswego is really only half the battle, because neighborhoods and the subdivision you pick inside Oswego makes or break your real experience, and some of them hold value more than others. Now, if the train is a priority to you, or you want to look at a town that's just down the street, then watch this next video where we go into Aurora and we talk about zip code by zip code, and I'll see you there.